There you go.
Hi everyone. Good morning. It's Sarah here with the paper cut. It is Saturday. Hang on. I have video. And I have sound. Yay. I was a little bit worried about my sound because usually when I disconnect and we do something different, I come back and I have a hard time getting reconnected. And this morning with Comment Sold going on, I was busy doing that. And so only about 10 minutes ago, I started futzing, opening up my cameras and my computer. And then my mom forgot her computer at home. So she ran home. So I feel like I'm always saying that I'm a little disheveled and rushed before getting on live. So anyways, but we make it happen. So Saturday morning, today is normally a crafter classroom day, but they're all in, or a lot of people are in, I believe they're in Michigan at Novi, at Megabeat. So anyways, we're doing it anyways, but on the paper cut page and on our YouTube channel. So Kathleen, it's funny that you mentioned the Northern Lights because my mom just asked me if I saw them last night, and I did not, but she showed me pictures. Good morning, Wendy. Good morning, Linda, Laura, everybody's that's on. Becky's even on. Hope. Anyways, so we're here, normally Crafters Classroom, but we are here doing it anyways since they canceled. I was trying to be consistent. So let's go down to the table. I just want to show you the cards in case you missed it.
Okay, you're down
to
there.
the table. So these are the cards we're doing today. But just in case you missed last week or the week before, on Thursday we're doing horizontal cards. So everything is horizontal. So a triple tier slider, which a lot of the times, I pull up, and somebody told me I totally forgot that I could turn it that way. So that's why we're doing it that way. I didn't use tape on the back of some things, and mine is a little sticky. Anyways, then we have our fancy label, which normally like that. When I was at Spring Bling, a couple gals gave me a card, and I have it here somewhere. Here it is. They gave me this card, and that's where I got the idea to do the horizontal, because I'm like, oh, you could do that horizontal. So anyways, she taped hers together, but she was saying that she doesn't have many words that fit right here or that are tall, so she turned it this way. So that was kind of my inspiration for doing, and that was, I believe it was Sue and Diane. Who was that all? That was, yeah, Diane, and Sue. So if you're on, thank you. So anyways, but that's what gave me the idea. And you can tape this down, or you can pull it up. So that's one of them. And then a horizontal banded Z-fold. So right after class, we are doing a Comment Sold. So we're gonna, and it's not as much stuff as it is, so I didn't get Tracy here. So my mom and I are gonna try it all by ourselves.
Okay.
I probably have a little bit more than I thought, as usual, but not as much as we have some other days. So we'll follow that with today. So anyways, it was a busy last few weeks for us. This past Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we were in Iowa for Josh's graduation, which was fabulous. So proud of him. So he is just a brilliant guy, but he is so kind and so humble, and
Oh my gosh.
he is just amazing. So, but yeah, we had a good time. Got to spend some time with him. Got to do the Craftalong, which his friends totally loved, and my mom actually, one of them, when after we were done, she's like, "Are you going to teach us to dance?" So yeah, my mom taught him a little dance. So yeah, we had a good time. So let's get on with our Simply Stamping. I did forget one thing when I sent out my email yesterday. I forgot to say, if you didn't get the complete set of stamps, you do need to have some type of stamps to stamp, because this is a stamping craft along. And usually I'll pull pieces and parts for my kit, but I didn't have a chance. So I'm actually pulling a kit, so which is kind of scary because sometimes I'm like, pull it ahead of time and then I'm forewarned if I happen to be missing anything. This time I'm not. So we'll find out together. But anyways, like I said, in this class we're doing brush blending and stamping. So in our kit, let's just go through that first. This little packet is the template that we're going to use for this card. It's also got some different color swatches in here. So like in case you didn't have, a purple or pink ink pad that looked decent with those purple or pinks, or in case you just wanted to layer something a different color, there's some different colors in there. So you have a little bit of all shades. If you're not a purple or pink person, you need to give this to a guy, and you think that they might enjoy blue better, you can alter your colors. And I think this one and this one are the only two that are really like color matchy. This one has blue and those colors in it, but you could go with whatever. This one you could definitely go with whatever. So you can change it up and do whatever you want for your colors. You don't have to do what I did. You do you. That's what I'm saying. You do you. So let's just start. We'll start with that one, because that one, actually I did the sympathy one. It's my first one. And before we do that, I did forget to get 2 ink pads. I did use a silver and a gold ink pad on 2 of the cards, which you don't have to do that. And I didn't emboss them, but hey, if you want to emboss them, you knock your socks off. Okay, here we go. I'm going to open this one up. Thank you, Nancy, for your comment, your kind words.
Yeah, that's nice.
So I'm going to go grab my silver and gold ink pad really quick. And they're not in my little spot where I keep them, so I left them in here, which was smart of me. But I forgot that I left them in here, which was not too smart of me. So, anyways, okay, let's go on to this one. Let's open up our little kit. So we got to go watch his thesis, just really quick. And then we'll move on to class. But we got to go watch him present his thesis and then defend it. And he did a little introduction. In his introduction, he kind of started it at more layperson explaining things,
which I still didn't understand.
So anyways, which was really nice. But yeah, then he got more into it, and I can just say he did a great job presenting it. I didn't understand a lot of it, but it's not because he's not, didn't do a good job presenting it. He gave the little introduction, in the beginning, and explained stuff, and then after it got past that, then I was like, phew, over that. So anyways, so in this one, let's just pull this out. I have a few different colors, and I don't even remember exactly the colors I used, so this should be interesting. But that's okay. Like I said, you don't have to use the exact same colors that I used. And you can just kind of go for whatever you want to do. So
he was so good about that short introduction, Sarah, because he brought us right into it, even though his thesis was directed toward his
his peers and his doctoral,
peers.
But he had a little bit for everybody, so you didn't feel lost from the very beginning.
I think I understood 6 words.
So let's just start with this one. I'm just going to get this, and I am starting with this one because it kind of lands closer to the middle. But I am going to just start with this Go Be Great, and I'm going to brush blend it yellow. So I'm happy to see so many of you on, even though we're like super early with different parts of the country. So thank you for joining me this weekend, even though it's not the full Crafters classroom.
Sarah, what is Josh going to be doing now?
Now he is, well, he's got a fellowship first, in Providence, Rhode Island from September to December, and I don't exactly know what he's doing there. And then he was hoping to get a grant or another fellowship or something for Madison. He didn't get that, but he's going to contact the professors there. He wants to do a postdoctoral thing. And Josh is kind of very laid back that way, where we ask him what he's going to do, and he's totally not worried about it. I got time to figure it out. Leah's like, well, you kind of need to get on that. And he's like, nope, I got time. I'm good. So
The difference between Josh and Leah.
yeah, Leah's like a planner. Boom, 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 boom. What are we doing? What's next? What's the agenda for the afternoon? And Josh is kind of like, yeah, whatever. So, la-di-da. So, and then Jake, the middle one, is dictated by the grandchild. So anyways, the difference in the stamping here is this one I did print off and this one I stamped. So my ink ended up a little bit wider. So that's where the difference in the stamping is there. Anyways, now we're moving on to our little template. So we punched because it was easier for them to just take some of my punches and go like that. And we just did different size circles. So I didn't put in the directions like which size circles I used in different areas. So you're just going to use them. Now be careful when you're brush blending. So if we just want to do like this circle green, don't brush blend way up here because it'll go off the edge right here. And likewise, don't brush blend way over here because you're going to get green over there. Unless it doesn't matter. You do you. So I'm just kind of seeing where I'm at with my circles, and it doesn't matter. This is kind of like a very random thing. I just kind of want to be on the side of my paper. And I just kind of looked at it right here to say, oh, I'm about a 1/4 inch down from the top and over towards the side. And I'm going to start with a green. Let's see. Hang on, I got to find a green blending brush because I still have some blending brushes at home. So, and I don't know that I have a green one right here. Maybe I do. Let's see. That one's a blue. Okay. I'll use this one. We'll see if we can get this one green. I always test, especially when I'm going in different colors that I know these probably weren't used in, off to the side to make sure I have the shade that I want. And if you want to hold, there's enough room on here, so I am just going to use my fingers and hold it down. But if you want to tape anything with like a removable tape, you knock your socks off and you just do what you want to do. Whatever works best for you. So, brush blending. I like to do a little bit off to the side rather than start on my project. I also like to, especially depending on the brushes I have, hold behind the head. I do see a lot of people inking just like this. I like to actually get in there and kind of ink the same way that I'm brushing down on the bottom. But I think part of the key is starting off the edge or getting a little bit off on your scratch paper before going on to here, because you can always add more ink. You can't take it off. So you saw me do that, so I'm just going to go right here, and I'll probably do that several times. And if it gets off where the area is. If you need to line it back up, go ahead and line it back up. Start off to the side. This one this is going to be where my main flower head is. So there's my green. And now I'm going to work other ways from there. And I am going to start with like my lighter colors. So I'm going to go on to my yellow. And I don't want to get anything on there, so I'm really going to put that off to the side. This is way more inking, and now be careful on here because, hang on, this one is very close to the edge of the paper. So I am going to put like a Post-it note there just to kind of mask that off. So I don't have to worry about brush blending over that way. And I could mask off at the top too if I wanted to. I love Post-it notes, by the way. I use them in classes. We have them in class. So then I always put them at each person's spot. So then they can do their gluing on their little Post-it note, because then it mucks up the Post-it note. You rip it off, you throw it away. Whereas if you have, a big placemat and somebody glues on it, then the next person that comes has to deal with the glue. So anyways, I use Post-it notes a lot. I love them. So they were a pretty good invention. So now I'm going to go up here and do my blue. And if you want to look, you can just kind of hold your template up to the card, and then you can see where it goes, or which size it is, I mean. So Tracy just got on.
Yeah,
so
I got you, Tracy.
Tracy, if you're still listening, you didn't get fired from Comment Sold. I just figured we weren't going to have a whole lot of stuff today, so I thought I'm not going to bother Tracy just for a little bit of stuff. She would have been right here, though. She's my partner in crime.
In everything.
Yeah, in everything. And she would be right here. If I said, can you come and do 15 items, she would have been here. So now I'm going on to blue. And I have no idea how long this class is going to take. So I said comment, ooh, that one I did. See, that's a bad Sarah. It's probably a smaller blending brush would have been better for this one. But now, you know what? Since I made that one dark, I'm going to make it a little bit darker purposely. And that's okay. It can be different than mine. See, that one's a little bit darker. And that's okay. It's just all right. You do you. So now I had a darker green one up here. So I'm going to see if I can pull a little bit different shade of green. And again, I'm going to move my Post-it notes. So I said for comment sold 9:45, and then I think on one of the posts I said or 10, because yeah, it'll probably be later. Because I'm like an hour and 15 minutes. Do I ever finish an hour and 15 minutes? Only on Crafter's Classroom when I have to. So this is kind of Crafter's Classroom, and that's why I had that on my mindset. But not really. I can do whatever I want because there's nobody following me. I'm following me. Right? Okay. So, and actually, maybe I want to do that one. I think I want to overlap it. I don't know if I can do this without, I wanted to overlap it a little bit more. I wanted to see a little bit more of that. So let's see if I can actually do a darker green and get it to fill in where it was white. We'll try it. Yeah, there we go. That works. Okay, now the biggest one right here was blue again.
Oh, that worked. That's nice.
What?
That worked.
Yep, that worked. So now I'm using my Post-it notes. I'm masking off. So yeah, I totally missed saying the Post-it notes in my email to you all. So I apologize for that. And if you want to grab a different color blue, you can. You can vary your shades. Again, start it off to the side. I like to do a stamping one every once in a while. Usually we have everything pre-printed, So this is kind of nice. It's a nice change. Because it started out, teaching and doing stamping classes, actual stamping classes. So now I have a little yellow one down there. So yeah, it's nice to every once in a while give you guys the, where you have to stamp. So much right now is like dies and all of that, so it's nice to actually do some stamping. I mean, I usually do the stamping on my... Okay, here we go, a yellow. And yeah, this is really easy. This template, you can save it and use it again. But it's super easy to make because you're just punching circles. Something that maybe you don't think of too much. So my spacing is probably a little bit off here, but it doesn't matter. I might have had this one too low, I don't know. But again, doesn't matter. It's kind of like alcohol inks. When you're trying to replicate something alcohol ink, it's very hard to do. So when we were in Iowa, we did the magic card, and then I brought the alcohol ink one because I thought, oh, they're like sciencey people. They'll probably think this is super cool, and they did. So yeah, they had fun doing the cards and the dancing.
It's something I totally didn't expect. Oh.
So yeah, there we have and we have this, so we can just take our Post-it notes off because we might need those later. And then you can save your little circle template for another project. I didn't even use the smaller one, but if you want to add circles, in other places on here, you can do that. All right, so I'm going to just set that off to the side instead of have a whole big mess on my table, which I do, by the way, because it's been a busy few weeks. I mean, we were at Spring Bling, and there was a little local show that we went to, and then Josh's graduation. So today I'm going to get some bike time in and some eagle time in after we are done here. Let's see. So now we have our stamp set. Now, I did use these, I liked the round flower tops. So when I did that, I used the bottoms, and you have to be very careful when you're using a bottom. If you have ink on this top, now since this is your first card, it probably doesn't matter. And I just tested this, and I'm not getting, my top I did use, but if you have the top and it's used, you want to be very careful because we are going to just use the bottom of one of these flowers for the stem. So I used the top off of one, and I'm going to pull out multiple blocks. So I'm going to stamp my top first, and I'm going to stamp it in my green circle, and then I'm going to stamp my stem. Now you can either have that not inked, or you can kind of, mask that off. Whatever you're comfortable with. If you have a clean stamp right now, you can just use it. So let's go for it. Stamping time. I know Valerie, thank you for watching. I was sick on Monday, so I didn't get the kits out when I was supposed to. Otherwise, some of you might have gotten it on Wednesday, so I do apologize for that. It's been a lot lately.
Yeah.
So my mom and I were just saying we've traveled the last 3 out of the last 4 weeks, and we're like, oh, we can't wait to be home. I don't know how I traveled all the time, and was gone 26 weekends a year.
Yeah, I don't either.
That's crazy. So I stamped the flower top, and again, you pick what color you want to, or what pattern you want to do. Now we're going to use that in black again. And like I said, if this is your first time using this stem, you don't have too much to worry about. But if you've used this before, be careful that you're not going to get the residual from the top of the flower. And again, you can mask that off, or you can clean it really good. For inking the stem, you just want to ink the stem. You can either do it this way, or you can ink it this way, whatever you're most comfortable with. But you just want the stem on there. And I'm afraid, oh geez, I should have masked it, but okay, there we go. And you could have used any stem. Oh, I have mine in the wrong spot. No wonder why they looked weird. And it doesn't really matter, but I'm just going to leave that open. So now, I'm going to leave that up here. Now we have our two pieces of green, or our piece of green and our piece of blue. We're going to trim them down. I'm going to trim my blue first, and it doesn't matter, like how big is it? It doesn't matter too much. It's exactly a 1/2 inch actually, but you can trim it to whatever you want. I like trimming, using there's a little lip right here, and I use that as a guide quite often. It's just under a 1/2 inch. And then I'm going to attach that to my green, and then I'm going to trim my green after. Oh, yeah, just under a 1/2 inch, because it's a 1/2 inch tape gun, and it's hanging off just a little bit.
Oh, Valerie said she was still at work anyway, so she couldn't watch it, so it's okay. All's good.
On Wednesday?
Yes.
Yeah. So it was fun. It was really fun. That was just a great activity to do with Josh and his friends. So I'm glad Josh. When Josh first asked me, I thought that they just wanted to watch. And then earlier in the week when he called me and he said that they actually, do I have a kit? I was like, well, yes, I do.
As a matter of fact.
As a matter of fact, I have some extras. And this just did not trim very good because I was doing it really super close. So, and my long scissors are still in my bucket because I took my long scissors with, I just told them, just come, don't bring anything. So I brought all of the stuff that they needed. Tape, scissors, everything.
And they actually figured it out really nicely.
The tape gun, yeah. They all were, I had to educate them on the tape gun, the ATG. So my stem isn't as long, and that's okay. So now I'm I used a shorter stem, or I stamped it higher up, and that's okay. And I'm trimming this off. Apparently there we go. Then we're going to attach that to the card front. Oh, and I mucked it up there with a little bit. You know what I'm going to do? I'm not going to do anything.
No.
I'm just going to say it is what it is.
Hey, it's perfectly imperfect.
Yeah, it's perfectly imperfect. I don't know how I did that. Hate when that happens though. Now I'm just going to attach that onto the little card. I could take, I have a little polka dot, and I could have taken my little polka dot and done it right there.
Kathleen's wondering how many of his friends will start making cards. Most of those kids are pretty artistic. By the time they get to their PhD, they've been doing a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And been introduced to a lot of things. And I've seen some of their artwork. It's really amazing.
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't surprise me at all that they will be some of your best customers.
Well, and I think that I think it's kind of was a release for him because we did the one card, we did the magic card, and then I asked him, do you want to make another card? And they were all like, yeah, this is great.
Yeah.
So I think it's just a way to get out of the academic world a little bit. So yeah, it was good. Loved it. And so grateful that Josh asked to do that. Okay, so now let's go. I'm just trying to decide where to put my done cards so I don't get them mucked up. Now I'm just going to set them way over there. Okay, so let's go on to this one. And this is our pink purple one. But again, you can do whatever you would like to do. So in this kit, we have our envelope, our card base, which we're going to do a little bit of stamping on. Oh, we're not even doing stamping on the card base, so we can just totally set it aside. You have, this is your layer that we're going to do a little bit of stamping on. And I'm going to wait to stamp it until after I make sure which color I want to use. And then you have some words. You can do whatever you want to do with that. These two larger ones are the layers that go right here. So this is the one that we're going to do our brush blending and our stamping on. This pink one is for layering whatever words you pick out. So let's go on to just do our brush blending first. Now, I gave you in here a, what am I trying to say here, Sarah? Use your words. That's what Leah would say. Mom, use your words. I gave you an overlay. So this is our mini oval overlay. So if you have like overlays and you buy a pack of 25 and you make however many cards, you can use your overlays as masks. They don't have to be just layering on the front of a card. Now I think the hard part here was trying to get it as close to the middle as possible. So I think I went, here, there, and then it is like equal top to bottom, but it's not equal on the sides. So if you kind of make sure it's in the middle, on the sides and just kind of go up, then if you want to, you can take some removable tape and you can attach it on there, and then you can turn over and brush blend from this side. So again, to get it approximately where it needs to be, and again, if it's not perfect, it's okay. If you are looking at it and you make sure you got close to an equal border and you slide it up, and then an equal border, straight top and bottom. I mean, you could, I'm not going to because I'm a go for it kind of gal, you could measure, so your little layer is 3/4 of an inch from your top and your bottom.
That would be Leah and me who would measure.
Yeah, I'm not measuring. I'm just going to be a go for it kind of gal. You be whatever kind of gal you want to be this morning on this fine Saturday morning. And if it's not right, you always have the other side. So here we go. Pink and purple. I am going to start with my pink in the middle and do that, and then I am going to do my purples to the outside. So when I do my pink, I am going to, again, start off. And you could start off the edge because you're going to cover that up with purple. But if you go off onto your scratch paper, get that first little thing off, then you can probably just go right to the middle. Depending on how big your blending brushes are too.
Easy for you to say.
These are the new rubber necker or brass and bliss. I always forget. So I'm just doing the middle because I'm going to do the outside purple. So now you could use this color down here if you wanted to. So if you want to do pink down there, I did the purple because we're layering in pink. But remember, you also have other colors to choose from. So, I don't know if I have a designated purple brush. So I'm just going to use my pink one because I don't think I'm using pink anymore. And then this one will be a convert to purple. And again, I'm testing it a little bit. And if this is the one I'm going to use, then this is probably the one I'm going to use for my stamping too. Now this is our overlay, it's our mask, so we can start off the edge if we want. So we're just brush blending around the outside. Then we'll do our stamping. And again, if it is crooked and you want to turn it over, you have the other side. If you muck up both sides, I'm sure you have white paper. But again, it doesn't need to be perfect. If it's perfect, it's Hallmark. And if somebody tells you your oval's a little crooked, well, you know what they are. They're off your list of who you give your handmade cards to. So you can do as as much pink, as much purple as you want to do. And if you want to check it out, I attached mine on there. There. Yeah, that's fine for me. So this one's a little bit darker. Again, brush blending, alcohol inking, it's hard to get them exactly the same every time. And it doesn't need to be exactly the same because no two people are going to compare cards. Again, you can save your little template there. And then I did take, again, I took the 3 tops and I stamped my 3 tops first, and then I took a bottom. Now, when I did the first one, I used this one, which has the shorter stems. So that's what I did. I want to use one of the longer stems this time around. So, and maybe start with your whichever circle you're going to put in the middle. Oh, Heather's on. Heather, I have something to talk to you about later. For teaching wise. So, anyways, so now I'm starting in the middle, and then I'm going to stamp my first middle top. And mine went, my original one went a little bit off the top. Doesn't matter. Nobody's going to see both cards. And then I am going to do my second one. And if you want to stagger them, you have at her. You just do what you want to do. And then I'm going to do my third one. I think Mitra was on too. I don't know if she still is. But yeah, this is her stamp set. I just love this. It's called Borders and Bits.
Yeah, that is such a pretty set.
But I just think it's really versatile. So, okay. So now I'm going to use one of my bottoms. And again, either clean your stamp or check it and make sure that your top isn't stamping. Because I don't want to get my ink from the top. Mine is pretty dry, so I'm not going to worry about it. But I'm still very afraid. So if you do want to mask that off, you can mask it. I am just going to go for it. Because I checked it.
You're gutsy.
And I didn't connect that one really good. But if you miss connecting it, there's also a thing called black markers. Nobody can tell, except for you guys that are all watching me.
And if you tell, then we'll have to hunt you down and shoot you.
So this next one, I'm going to be raise it up a little bit. I'm still very afraid. Oh, and that one I missed too, but you know what? I don't care. That's close enough. Okay, last one. Oh, that one I was short too, so now I should just leave them all. So whatever. Okay. So then I am going to take my layer and whatever color ink I used, I'm going to put it back. Now this is a shorter one, and maybe you didn't think outside the box like I could use this one. So I'm going to use it, and I'm just going to connect it all the way across. And if you're like, hey, I'm good, I don't need that, that's okay. You don't have to do that. But I am, so if you want to follow along. And if you make one look crooked, make more look crooked. And you could even like do them zigzaggy if you wanted to. But yeah, this was a think outside the box, and you have this little 3 stamps that you can make into this really cool little border. There, yay. All right, and then we can take that off. So now we're going to go to assembly. These are just going to attach together. They're just going to attach on here. Let's see, my card base and my envelope are right there. Now, if you have a dirty surface, that's the one bad thing when you're stamping. You want to make sure your surface isn't dirty. You know, or you could use your layer to set your good layer on. You can use the back of it or the front of it, because you're going to cover it up anyways. You can feel the difference. This is a 100-pound card, and this is an 80-pound layer. So these are both our white cougar, which I really like for my Copics and just basic everyday stamping. But that's the difference. If you're never sure which weight to get, is the layer was the 80-pound, the card base is the 100-pound. Now when you're layering, I'm fine using an 80-pound also. So for my card base. So these 3 you're just gonna pile on top of each other. I'm just going to put tape on. Oh, I don't know. Sometimes I go top to bottom, sometimes I go bottom to top. Why, you ask? I don't know. This time I think I just did it so I could have my tape gun and tape both layers, and then I can build up. But yes, sometimes I would put the white on this one and then that one on the pink. But I always like to tape on the backs of things instead of the fronts. But we did have something last week that we taped on the front. I can't remember what that was. Oh, when we were talking about the fractured cards, that's what it was. Okay, so now this one we're going to tape down. Alright, and then decide which word you want to use. I'm going to use the top one, but actually, I think I'm going to give this one to Kirsten for Mother's Day. So,
double duty here we go.
Double
again.
duty, yeah. So I don't have a Mother's Day one.
Oh,
Actually,
happy day.
I have a Mother's Day right here. So I'm going to cut one. But I'm just going to cut.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, I'm just going to cut one so you guys can follow along, but then I think I'm not going to attach it because I think I'm going to use a different one. Yeah, I think I'm going to use this Happy Mother's Day, and I'm going to use a different circle and die cut that out so I can make it a little bit smaller. But yeah, I need to do a Mother's Day card for Kirsten and you, but I'm not going to do yours in front of you. Actually, I'll put it. I'd want to show you how I did that. So I am going to just attach the happy birthday. So this I attached with foam tape. I keep my foam tape on my, well, sometimes I keep it on spools, but I also keep it on my camera legs, so that's what I reach towards every once in a while for my foam tape. All right, so now when I attached this, I used a narrower foam tape and then a wider foam tape. So down at the bottom, oh, that's disconnected. Down at the bottom I used regular foam tape. So hang on, let me get my foam tape out. And I saw this on a, hang on a second. I have my foam tape on that side and then along the Y. But it doesn't quite hit up here. So it's still a little bit low. So, I mean, not like anybody's going to tell if my height is different, but I did see this on a, I don't know, I was on something one night. I don't know what I was on. But you can just, if you want little foam tape, like you don't want it popped up so much, you can take just a couple pieces of scrap cardstock.
Oh, smart.
Yeah. So you can build it up just that tiny bit. So that tiny bit was enough to level out my, you know, this foam tape that was here with right here. I just put a couple pieces of scrap cardstock on the back if you don't want to give it as much lift. So if I wanted it lifted off to there and I would have put regular foam tape up here, then I would have had to put double foam tape down there, and it still might have been a little bit wonky because I have 2 layers of cardstock. So anyways, yeah, so you can just take little bits of cardstock, pile it up, and it's not as thick as foam tape. So like I said, I'm not going to attach that one on because I might make this one a Mother's Day card for Kirsten. Just a more simple one, so I'm going to set that one off to the side. And then I'll set this one off to the side, and then let's go on to our brown one. And I have no idea, we're at 9:20 yet. We're not finishing it. Yeah, it's probably comment sold is going to start closer to 10. And I think I said that in my post yesterday. I meant to do one this morning too, but I didn't. So this one, we have our hop sack white, which is a 90 pound, and there's a slight texture. It's kind of like the old basil cardstock. So this piece we did stamp on with gold, if you want to. This is our circle that we're going to use as our mask. So it's our mini circle overlay, and we're going to use that as a mask. Now I hand stamped these, so they're probably not perfect, and you can position your circle where you want. Now you could still do the same trick that we did yesterday if you want, or not yesterday, like a half an hour ago, no, 15 minutes ago. And you can look at it at the back because this circle has an equal border on all 3 sides. So if you want to put it back there and just check it out, you know, if you want it in the middle, look at from the back and use a piece of removable tape so you have equal border on all three sides, and see where that brings you with your width sympathy. So, but yes, if you want to do something different, you can just turn it over. Like if you're like, nope, I don't want a sympathy card, I want to make it into something else, you can turn it over and use the other side. So otherwise, just kind of go for it. Oh, I did give you two. I don't know why I gave you two, but I did. Oh, because I think the printed with sympathy I couldn't get as dark as if I stamped it. So the darker one is the actual stamp. This is the printed one. So you actually do have two to begin with anyways. So let's find my brown. And I'm not sure which brown I used. Hang on, I need to test that a little bit. I think it was maybe this one. Now, if you want to fill it in solid, you can. If you want to get light to dark, you know, darker on the outside, lighter on the inside, whatever you want to do. Again, do it off on the side a little. And maybe I might do this lighter one first, and then I have another shade of brown that I might do on the outside to make it a little bit darker. But I think with my original, that's what I was going to try to do, and it didn't work out so good. Oh, and I also wasn't sure if my ink would blend with blending over the top of it. I think that's another reason why I gave you both. Because I did use stays on, so technically it should not. It should be there, and it should not move. But I think, I wasn't sure what was going to happen with blending over the top of stamped. So that's probably another reason why I gave you both. So let me just try this one.
Okay, I'm going to put this in the car right away.
Okay. My mom's walking away from her post. But that's okay. You guys are all just going for it. Because she forgot her computer, she had to run home and get it, and that threw her morning off. Okay. So yeah, I did use two shades. Sometimes, like we're going to do that with the grays, where you can just use one shade and brush blend it off a little bit. So that one's down a little bit lower, but then on my sample, where is my sample? Hang on. So yeah, on my sample, I had it more right in the middle. So I could have raised that one up. Oops. But that's okay. Nobody's gonna see. So anyways, you can take your template, use that later, save it. You can use whichever flower top or bottom you want. So this one is going to have more of the flower I'm going to put off towards the top a little bit to even it out. And then again, I'm going to use one of my longer flower stems. This one, remember, had the shorter one. And I'm going to check it again, make sure I'm not getting any ink from my top. I'm going to ink up my bottom. Again, you can ink it that way, or you can ink it that way that you can see through. Again, very afraid. There we go. Okay, that worked. So you have an extra with sympathy. You're going to attach that. This is going to attach solid onto there. I kind of dropped it on my black ink pad. which is what you're seeing in the corner there. It doesn't matter because we're taping it down. Just make sure your fingers are clean. Mine aren't. Now, I did do some stamping with gold. Now, you don't have to, so I did take this one off, and I did use a gold ink pad. Now, this would be super pretty if it was embossed, but I didn't want to throw that into the mix. So if you want to emboss that on there, you knock your socks off. So I'm just stamping the gold flat. Oh, I better test it. Oh, yep. I love these Encore pads. I don't know if they sell them anymore.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
But they are like my favorite gold and silver ink pads. So it's hard to see. It's just a slight background border-ish type thing. And that's okay. But yes, it would really stand out if you embossed it with a gold ink. I just wanted it more subtle. I just didn't like it as plain on the top and the bottom. So if you want to do that, do it. If you don't, don't. If you want to emboss it, emboss it. If you want to use one of the other little borders and bits, you can do that. So now we're going to attach that onto the card front. Actually, we're booking right along. We probably will be done by, well, maybe 9:50. We'll start our comments sold at 10. It'll probably only run like half an hour or so. And this I did pop up. Because I have 4 boxes of stuff. Normally, sometimes I have like 8. And sometimes I have a lot of onesie, twosie stuff. It's because I was at the graduation, I didn't have a lot of time to do like our class, you know, the class pieces and parts. So I did tell Becky and Brian go around the warehouse. And if you see some stuff that's overstocked, I will put it on there at 40 to 50% off. So they did that. And then I added some other stuff too. Stuff that we've had in comments sold before. But maybe I marked it down a little bit more. So then I think, I'm going to tell you guys this, but I haven't said it yet. I am going to do I'm not going to call it a Mother's Day sale this year. I'm going to call it a graduation sale. So there will be a coupon code tomorrow, just off our regular stuff. So we can combine your comments sold with that, like we normally do. But yeah, you normally activate a code this weekend. I won't get to it till tomorrow. So there we have our sympathy card. Just simple.
Nice.
Because
That
that's
is
all
nice.
that's all you need. Okay. There we go. Moving on. Let's go on to, we'll save our black, white, and gray one for last. Let's go on to the just because. And that's that one. Now sometimes when I'm doing stuff, I like have half cards because I need a piece of paper so I cut a card back off. So this one is one of those that I did that too. So this is our mask this time. Now this mask I die cut out of the mini slimline layering die set. So, and this just because is actually the mask in the next card. I had them save that, and then I stamped just because on there. Okay, now let's talk about one thing. Since we hand die cut these, your rectangle may be crooked on there. So that's what we're going to talk about first. Because your rectangle, because they were hand die cut, it could be crooked. So if you have a trimmer that has the lines on it, you can line up one of your edges, and this is how to get it back square if you think it's on there crooked. You don't have to be doing this. I just wanted to give you the how to make it square. Mine is pretty square, but you can line one of the edges up with the inside of the line, and then you can trim it, because if it's crooked, that's now going to make this line straight to this edge. Okay, but did you notice how I didn't put it up against here? Because if it's crooked, then it's going to be crooked. I pulled it away from the top, and I just lined it up with one of my guidelines on here, so I could just trim a little bit off to now make that square. So this edge that I cut should be square. So now if I want to, I can line that up. And again, or I could line up the edge of my inside of my line, you know, in case you're doing this because you want to make sure it's, you know, square and straight. And it might obviously look crooked, or it might not look crooked at all. So up to you. But like I said, we hand cut these, so they may be crooked. I'm just telling you how to square them up. And we're going to do that with the other one too. So now on this one you can, is not color specific. You could use what other colors you want. Now you can line up, you know, with the edge of the inside with your layer, you know, or you can look at it and then tape it down. So I can tape my mask down a little bit. Or if you have, and I forgot about that.
What?
Remember, I forgot about my prize that I won with the magnets.
Oh,
that
yeah.
you keep your stuff attached. Totally forgot about that. Well, because I have a little bit of a mess going on in here right now. And I'm going to keep my layer in place too with some removable tape. But yeah, if you have one of those handy dandy tools with the magnets on it, you can do that. So now this one, I am going to start with my yellow. And I'm going to do yellow on the whole thing. And then I'm going to show you, then I'm going to do my orange. And then I'm going to show you what to do in case your thing moves along the way. So I started with yellow. I'm going to do it off a little bit. Then I'm going to do my whole thing yellow. I mostly want the bright yellow in the middle, but just going to do the whole thing yellow. And as you can see, I don't trust my mask or my taping, so I do kind of hold stuff in place. Now the magnet is pretty darn strong. All right, then I'm going to go on to my orange. I think I have a blending brush here. Oh, I have a little teeny tiny blending brush here for my orange. But I do test this one, especially when you are using a big blending brush. You know, you can use, you know, mostly like the center of it is going to go on there, and you don't end up with the lines. When you're using a little one, you have to worry about those lines a little bit more. Let's see if I can get this little teeny tiny one to work the way I want it to. I mean, obviously a bigger one is better because you cover more area at the blending a lot with this little teeny tiny thing. But I guess it's good for like if you have, oh, screw, the heck with it. I'm going to find myself a different one. I'm not that patient. Maybe. I don't think blending brushes are all created equal. Now, I could mask if I'm close to my edges there. Oops, hang on, here's my mask. I could mask that off just to make sure that I didn't get ink on there. I had some masks that I was using, but I don't know where they went. And I can mask off my bottom just because I don't want to get ink there, because you will notice it even if you don't hardly notice it. Once you take that mask off, you might notice it. Okay, now I'm using a bigger blending brush. So if you're on now and you are going to join us for comments sold, it will start in a new feed about 5 minutes after we get off. It'll take me about 5 minutes to get back on, but it'll be a new feed, so you'll have to get off of this feed, then just kind of wait patiently for it to start. Now, if you haven't registered through comments sold, you could do that now while you're waiting. We do take a little bit of time in the beginning, and because I don't have Tracy here, probably should have had her just come for a little bit, but we don't have somebody that will correct if you type wrong and stuff. Okay, so now say that this moved slightly, because that happened to me when I was doing it. I didn't tape down my top and bottom of my layer. And actually I did. I have a little smooge right there. Why I have a little smooge right there, I don't know, but I do. So I did take, and I think that's why I was using my little one. And I moved it, so now I can put a darker, so I could use a darker orange right there. And just blend that again. I think I had it moved the first time that I was doing this, and I was like, well, I'll just move my mask and then I'll brush blend just a tiny little bit more to give a really solid dark orange.
Here she comes. Oh, nope, that's Steve.
Is
Maybe
that Steve?
Steve wants to stay.
Hi, Steve. Steve's our mailman.
Hello,
Let's see.
Steve.
Oh, you're in a class.
Yeah, we're in a class. We're online.
You're good.
Do you have a joke of the day?
Oh, I'm not interrupting it.
No.
Well, we're online, but do you have a joke of the day? Steve
What
always
do
tells
you
us
get?
a joke of the day. Hang on. Go ahead.
What do you get if you eat too much uranium?
I don't know. What do you get?
Atomic ache.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Will there be anything going out?
There will not be anything going out.
All right.
Okay.
Have a good weekend.
Thanks,
You too.
Steve. See you Monday. So, bum, 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 bum.
There he is.
So that's our Steve. He keeps us entertained. Anyways, now I have that little more dark solid up there. Now that I did that on the bottom, or on the top, I'm going to do that on the bottom too. So yeah, we love Steve.
Yeah, Steve always has a joke of the day. Now you know what your mailmen do when they run around in their trucks. They look up jokes. At least ours does.
Well, I don't know if he looks up jokes.
Oh,
I think
yeah, he
has
does.
somebody on, does he?
Yeah,
Oh.
he showed me his.
Oh, he showed you where he gets his jokes?
Yeah.
And I thought that he always had a customer on his route that tells him a joke.
Oh yeah, he does that too. Sometimes we tell him jokes.
Yes.
If we can even
So-
remember if I can even remember what it is I want to tell
Yeah,
him.
but how he remembers so many jokes,
I know.
it's insane. So yes. And then we love Deanna too. She's his replacement. She doesn't tell us jokes, but she's very nice.
Yeah.
And this part you can do or you don't have to do. Remember I said it, I just did it because I smooched a little. So I just moved my mask down and I'm putting one solid line. And sometimes there's these little ones that these might work a little bit better to do, more detail, but whatever. And then depending on what you have, you may want to add more yellow in the middle. Depending on if you went too far in, you can brighten it up by adding a little bit more yellow. So, okay, done with the inking. And then we have our little mask that you can save your mask if you want to. And yes, we are definitely running late for our comment sold. It will start at 10. So if anybody's getting on wondering if comment sold is going to be starting, because I did say 9:45, possibly 10, you will have to, after I'm done, then you'll have to get back onto a different feed or a different post. Okay. So, because we have one more to go. Now this one I did stamp the actual stamps. So this 3 stamps I stamped. So now you don't have to worry about the tops and the bottoms anymore. And I just kind of set that right there so I could see where it was. Now, if you want to set them up differently, you can. I kind of set this one in the middle, and then I did the other 2 on the side of it. And I'm going to just leave that one on because I used it on the last one. And I do have my little yellow one that I did. So hang on. My next 2. This one ends up going off the edge a little bit. And that's okay. And then my last one ends up being covered up by my just because a little bit. And that's okay too. Oh, I see why the stem is shorter on this one, because the flower top is smaller. That's what we have going on there. That's why you have a shorter stem. Okay. Now I'm going to leave my black ink pad out. But I grabbed this stamp off of there. And I'm going to stamp in yellow first. I just did a slight design going down the side. Choo, 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 choo. So you're going to stamp it a whole bunch of times. And again, it's a little stamp that can be repeated to then make a little pattern. And if you don't want to do that, you don't have to. If you want to use one of the other patterns, you can, because this is your project.
And there are no rules.
And there are no rules. No rules. You do what you want to do. But yeah, this is called Bits and Borders. I just liked it. And it has a lot of little stamps on it, a lot of little stuff, so you could stamp. So, and then I did stamp it once in black, and I saved that for the end. Now my just because covers it up. So you're just going to stamp it a little. And if you did that one first, you really need to clean it off before stamping your yellow. Alright, now my fingers are probably dirty. I'm going to try and keep everything nice and clean. Alright, turn that over. Again, if you're getting on looking for comments sold, we have one more card to go. So it's going to start closer to 10 to 10:05. I should know myself better, and I should have just said 10 to begin with. This stamp is an old wood stamp that I have. It's an old Endless Creation stamp. So all right. Bernice, I love them too. I use them all the time. But yeah, I came across this one. I told Mitra a couple months ago, actually. I told her that I was going to use this. I didn't have time to get it ready for last month. And then I actually posted mine on time this month, and then they canceled it after. So that's why I decided, nah, the heck with it. I'm just going to teach it anyways. On the same Saturday it would have been. So there, we have our just because. You could always turn that over and use a different thing. You could always instead of putting something there, you could always put a word underneath here. You have alternate words in 2 of the kits, so. On to our last one, which is going to be this one. But yeah, if you didn't want to use the just because on there, you could always use one of the other words from in here because you have extra. You could just layer it right below.
So Sarah, we have a Lindsay on YouTube. She's new here.
Hi there.
And she says, so what are you making?
We are making 5 cards. So this is a Craftalong that you could have bought in a kit for. Most Craftalongs, everything comes pre-printed. This particular one, I'm using a stamp set, so maybe my mom can post the link.
Yes.
And in this one, you had the choice of getting the complete kit with the stamps, or if you have stamps like that, you could have used your own. So anyways, in our kit, I'm just going to attach these on there right away before we even start. So I have our silver mirror card and our black. Now this is a 65 pound. We had it in our specials for a little while. We still do on and off. I activate it or don't activate it, but we're going to attach those to the front. So this is a 65 pound, which we only had in a few different colors. But let's just get those 2 layers on there. Oh, are you talking about the Northern Lights?
Yes.
Yeah. I might have been up, but I was working on comment sold stuff. So yeah, if you're looking for comment sold, we're going to start as soon as we're done making this card. We'll get off and we'll start in like 5 minutes after that.
Yes, Emily, we are back home. Graduation was amazing. Amazing. We had such a great time.
I still have to, I think I was the only one that took pictures during the ceremony.
Yes. Did you post them already?
No,
Sarah?
I was working on comment sold last night, so I'm
Okay.
going to work on getting those off my camera today at some point. So that's our card base. Now in here, the other things we have are, we have our main card layer. We have this layer that goes underneath this silver, and then we have our our words that you can pick whichever word you want. I used the thank you because it fits across there. The sending smiles is going to fit across. The thinking of you. The just for you might be a little long, but if you want to, do your word down here and reposition this, you can certainly do that. Or congrats. Oh, this is where I was thinking I had the congrats. So anyways, we also made a mask. This is the middle of our just because. I am going to do this kind of right down the center of here. This one too, if it's crooked, you can go ahead and you can square it up. Because at least on the top and the bottom, so then when you're looking at the edge of the paper, then you know your line is going to be straight. So let's go through squaring this up, at least on the sides. So if we're not sure if it's crooked, we pull it away from the top, we line it up with one of the lines on our trimmer, and then we trim it. Because then we know this edge is square to our shape. And we can turn it around and do the same thing on the other side. And again, I pulled it away from the top edge because you can't use this edge because you don't know if that edge is square. So, I mean, mine is actually pretty square.
So Stephanie, the commencement was for the master's programs, kids, and the PhDs.
PhDs, yeah.
There were about how many, Sarah?
There were, 600 total.
Yes.
I think there were more masters than PhDs.
Yeah.
So I am going to put my little piece, I'm going to start with that one because I used the lightest gray. And that's where I can see that I'm kind of centered side to side and straight. And I'm attaching it from the back, and then I'm turning over and I'm brush blending on it. And now we're on to grays. And I'm going to use probably one of my lightest grays for that one.
Whoops.
That's okay. Stuff falls every once in a while. So yeah, now given that it's 9:52, we'll probably start 5 after 10 for our comments sold.
And again, if you're going to attend comments sold, you'll have to get off when we get off and then get back on.
Yes.
It'll be a different stream.
Now this one, it's going to be hard to tell like how dark it is on there. And I just wanted this as a lighter going down the center. So don't get carried away, because even though it doesn't look very dark, when you pull that off of there, it's just dark enough. Okay. And now I can, so I have that. While I'm at it, while I'm on this piece, I am just going to get my black ink pad out of the way. I'm going to stamp my flower. Now, if you are going to use the thinking of you or sending smiles that's 2 words high, you know, maybe you want to stamp it. You could stamp it right in the middle, or you could stamp it offset a little bit higher. And then your words can intersect the bottom. So I'm just going to set that up to the top. I'm going to put my black ink pad away because we're done with that. And yes, I'm going to start comment sold a little late. That's okay. I was supposed to go get the grandbaby today, but now they don't need me. Boo-hoo.
Woo-hoo, yeah.
But hopefully I'll get to see him tomorrow. Otherwise, I told Jake, I said I'm going to be going through EV withdrawal, so pretty soon I'm just going to pick him up and take him for a night. Anyways, I started approximately in the center, and I made my lightest line the longest. And I'm going to do all of my lighter gray first, and so I'm just going to kind of space my 3 lighter grays, and it doesn't matter because then I have a medium gray and a darker gray, and they're going to overlap. So there's really no rules to this one. And if you want to hold stuff in place with removable tape, you can. I'm just going to kind of hold it. I'm going to just kind of hold it down, so I'm not taping, untaping. But I'm starting with my lightest. I'm going to use my same blending brush and then go on to the darker. Now, if you're just popping on, we're running a little bit late. My class, I should have known better. It's taking a little bit longer. And then we will start the comments sold about 5 minutes after I get off. But maybe, Mom, you can post the link for people that want to register for comments sold. It's thepapercut.commentsold.com. So there's my lightest one. And you can, look at, to try and make sure it's kind of straight, because we squared these off. So the papercut.commentsold.com.
Oops. My fingers are getting in the way.
Yeah, that happens.
Well, gosh.
If you only have a darker color ink pad, you could brush blend off on your paper quite a bit and then get to your lighter shade. And then the next time, don't brush blend off as much. Or you can keep piling shades on top of each other to get it to go darker. But there's only so dark that it'll go. But yeah, you can keep going on top of each other to get darker, darker, darker.
Thepapercut.commentsold.com, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So there we've got 2 lighter ones, and I'm going to do a 3rd lighter one. And I'm just kind of guessing. I can line my top edge up now with one of my previously lines. That'll work too. But yeah, if you're just getting on, we're a little bit late getting on for comments sold, so about 5 minutes after we're done, which we're getting close to done, then we'll start comments sold. It'll be a separate post. So sorry, we're slightly delayed. I should have known that when I don't have a time frame to fit in, like Crafter's Classroom, then I sometimes take a little bit longer. So I'm gonna see if I can grab a slightly darker one. And now I'm going to overlap and go slightly shorter and overlapped. I'm going to check my color because I went to a slightly darker one. This was supposed to be a Crafter's Classroom, but it got canceled because everybody's at Mega Meet. So, but here I am doing it anyways. I'm going to go down to the bottom. Do one down there. And you can overlap as much as you want. Again, no right or wrong. Just kind of keep it in place. I'm holding this one down with my hands instead of with removable tape. So see, I have my lighter lines. Then I have my slightly darker lines. Now I'm going to do some really dark ones. And I made my darkest ones my shorter ones. So I'm going to grab one ink pad darker. And this one, I might actually wait to put the words on until I know what it's for, because the words are, I don't have them backed in anything, so I can put the whole card together, and sometimes I'll keep my different words in the packet with the envelope, and then when you know what it's for, then you can, oh, that one I was a little off, but that's okay. I'm going to do our little trick that we did last time. I'm going to make it a little bit wider on the top or the bottom to cover up where I missed. Yes, I am at my own pace when I'm not in Crafter's Classroom. There I have to follow, like, I have to be...
Rules. We
Rules.
have to get up because somebody else is coming on.
Yeah, so yeah, this way I'm kind of at my own little pace, and yes, I fill in with my own little tips where when I'm set to a certain time frame, sometimes I forget about stuff like that. So normally, for people that are new, normally the second Saturday of every month is Crafter's Classroom, and then the Thursday after that is Fun Time Thursday. So actually, I think I'm going to just put a different, slightly shaded one right here to fill that in. Yeah, there we go. And I'm going to put a darker one right there.
Sarah, was there supposed to be a small silver piece for the small flower gray piece?
Yes, there's a silver piece this size. So there, mine is a little bit different than my original one. That's okay. It's okay. If somebody's missing a piece, they can... If you're watching live, you can comment and my mom will write it down. If you're watching the replay, which I forgot to say this public service announcement earlier, if you're watching the replay, don't post if you're missing a piece. Then you need to email me, sarah@thepapercut.com. And again, you have another little template that you can use. So I'm going to stick that on there.
Thanks, Hope. We'll fix that for you. Oh, never mind. She found it.
She found it. Yay. We haven't been missing pieces. Brian and Becky have been doing a really good job on kitting lately. I mean, they always do a good job on kitting. But, you know, when you're kitting a lot of stuff, sometimes you miss a piece. And we haven't had too many. So knock on wood, that's awesome. I'm just going to attach this, and then I'm going to pop that up with foam tape. And then, like I said, I have my words, but I think I'm just going to wait. On that one. Actually, this one might be a good one for Kirsten for Mother's Day too, because she has, like, I think she would probably like the black and white.
Crafter Air. Hope Duran. She thought she was
Crafter Air.
Crafter Air, yeah. I like that.
That's okay. Hope we all make mistakes, and sometimes stuff just gets lost on your workspace. I can totally relate to that. So this one, I'm going to show you this really quick with the words. And okay, we're going to be, I do want to cover up some of my stuff going on right there, so I'm moving this one over a little bit more instead of down in the corner. So you can do whatever you want to do. But now with this one, because I popped this up, I didn't want it to be really tall. So this thank you, or whatever, you know, the thank you that I used right there, I did totally just take scrap cardstock, and I backed it with some extra pieces of scrap cardstock. So I could pop that up just slightly, but not a lot. So whatever word you took, I popped that up just with some scrap pieces of cardstock behind it. So yeah, I'm just going to set that aside, so then I can use it for whatever card I want. So let's set the cards back up. Again, we still have the kits available. We have a few kits available with stamps. Otherwise, the paper-only kits, which the paper-only kits are nice too because you already have the stamps now. So now you can just make a whole nother set of cards, and you could make them different colors if you want to, because you have a few extra pieces of cardstock in there for different colors if these aren't your jam. So thanks for joining me, guys. It is 10:04. My mom and I will be back on in about 5 minutes for Comment Sold. See you in a bit.
Bye.
Bye. We'll see you shortly.